Good evening, wonderful people. Welcome back to the Saints Network podcast, your place for all things Southampton Football Club, your weekly dose of all things Southampton Football Club. We have an hour-ish show where we can talk about everything that's gone on with the football club over the course of the last week, including a home game at Bristol City, which was arguably must-win, and a day out at Wembley yesterday taking on the mighty Manchester City. We'll talk about all these things, obviously. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash all those magical YouTube buttons. Hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Smash subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified every single time we go live in the future. Those things are all free for you guys to do. We keep telling you that the likes are free, and half of you keep forgetting. Just go press that little button for us. It really helps us out with the algorithm. Same as if you comment on the show at any point. If you're watching this on demand and you comment on the show at any point, that also really helps the algorithm. Ash was whinging earlier because he doesn't get enough comments to answer anymore.
It's like my Monday mornings are boring now. I get like 5 and one of them's mum.
The other way you can support the other way you can support the podcast if you want to is by spending your dollary dues on YouTube for us. You can either become a member of the channel. If you hit that little dollar sign, you can choose a membership tier and support us weekly. We do all this without getting paid at the moment. The podcast basically makes a loss. All the support you guys give us is greatly appreciated. If you're already a member, you can gift out memberships to other people. That gives them access to extra areas in Discord and stuff like that. So it's nice for them to get a little peek behind the curtain. And maybe then they choose to become a member all by themselves. The beauty when you gift memberships as well is it doesn't just give them to people that are already subscribers. You can not be a subscriber of the show, watch a different football channel that's Saints, and get gifted a membership and go, who the fuck are these guys? And go and find us. And then maybe you become a new viewer. Or if you've got comments on anything that's happened in the last week or anything about the club in general, you can stick them on what YouTube calls a super chat. We hate them, so we call them postcards. Basically, again, you hit that dollar sign, you pick super chat, you pay an amount of money, you can type some words, it comes up in a big colourful postcard, and at the end of the show, we go through every single one. Unless they're relevant at the time in which we're talking, we'll grab them there and then. So, Bristol City.
Do it later.
Touch it later, right?
Yeah.
We're going to do it in reverse. Normally we'll do Tuesday, Saturday.
Park it.
We're going to talk about that later. We're going to go on to the league after we've covered yesterday because that kind of makes sense because then when we preview Tuesday, we're back in league, right?
There's a dice under my seat.
Yeah, it was there last
Leave
week.
it there. If you guess what number it is, you can have it.
Yeah, they can't. So yesterday, if you're a Saints fan, you will know, and you'll be well aware, was a day out at the coveted Wembley Stadium for Saints in the FA Cup semi-final. First things first, how do you feel about semi-finals being held at Wembley?
Absolute fucking nonsense.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. That being said, an excuse for Saints fans to have a day out at Wembley is an excuse for Saints fans to have a day out at Wembley. So not only did they sell out their full allocation, we then got given extra tickets because City didn't sell out their full allocation and we sold them out as well. So it was a packed Southampton Football Club end for the semi-final of the FA Cup, which is not the same that could be said for Manchester City. Did you see the press guy that gave Pep stick for it as well?
I did, but they've been to Wembley 24 times in the last 10 years, and it's expensive for them.
It is expensive for them.
I get it to a degree.
Especially when they're from Manchester as well. They all live on council estates.
I get it to a degree. They pay a little bit of money, they go and watch their team win, and then they sing in a train station, not in a stadium.
Actually, what's quite interesting is they're not all from Manchester, are they? Let's be honest.
No.
Most of them got Oyster cards or foreign accents. Anyway... it was Manchester City that we were playing at Wembley Stadium. Now, I'm going to say something now, which is slightly controversial as a Saints fan, but I think most Saints fans going into that game would have probably... Heart would have said, we can win this. Head would say, let's just not get turned over by too many.
Of course they would.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course they would.
And they say these things, they say these magical words, right? It's the hope that kills you.
It is the hope.
And it started really early on. So Ash and I had a conversation, and Ash was like, for us to win this game today, there's a few things that need to happen. They need to not really turn up. We need to defend for our fucking lives. The keeper needs to make a couple of great saves. They need to make some mistakes and have some chances, and we just have to have a break. And we've got to get the rub of the green. Things got to go our way. Lineup's got announced. Saints went basically as strong as they could. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I have questions over whether I think Stewart or Larin is a better centre forward. That's something we can discuss later. But Stewart got the nod, and I think we all knew that would happen. We had Fellows, Cienza, and Azaz across the front three. I think it's our strongest lineup, but I'm actually starting to prefer Madsky to Fellows, if I'm honest. And then the back four was what we anticipated. Captain Jack still injured, so we had James Bree, Nathan Wood, which I was slightly concerned about, Taylor Howard-Bellis, and Wellington comes in to play because Manning was suspended. And I mean, I've got opinions on him in a minute. We'll talk about that in just a second. And we started, and I think that Alan Shearer was on the TV at half time saying Saints were the better team, and then the BBC put a thing up about the statistics. Right, we'd had 0 shots on goal, 0 shots on target. City had all of them. We had 35% possession and half the amount of passes. I'm like, pundits be pundits, right?
I look. There's a few opinions that I will get to later. Evening, Martin. We can see in the chat. There's a few opinions that I'll get to later, but I did see those stats at halftime. Yes, I thought we kind of. I know it was offside, but we kind of understood how the running of the game was going to go when Reinders hit the post in the first minute, which actually, where we were, I didn't realise, is an absolutely incredible save from Daniel Kretz.
So not only did we line up like we just said, but City's lineup came out, and Ash's first words were,
"They've gone weak."
They've gone weak, was what you said.
Well,
the hope that kills you.
They went weak for them. They still played 11 seasoned internationals and hundreds of caps and goals and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, of course they did. But for them, they went weak. Doku was on the bench. Haaland was on the bench. What's his name?
Bernardo Silva was on the bench.
O'Reilly
was on the bench. Mark Gay was on the bench. Donnarumma was on the bench.
So in essence, they did go weak for them, but they still have a second string side that would probably any of them would walk into our first team. But then that's the first, right? That's the first thing. They've gone weak. There's a chance. Now, obviously, we talked about the first half. We didn't have a lot of possession. We had a couple of good breakaways. We mostly just defended for our lives, right? That's what we did. And I have to say, those players were throwing themselves in front of that ball. They were working their arse off to stop that from going in. We even scored a goal. It wasn't a goal, but we scored a goal with a breakaway from Leo Cienza. Slots the ball in the bottom corner. And then after... And I have to say this now. If we get promoted, this is one of those things that I'm really not looking forward to. Why play 30, 40, 50 seconds on and then go, it might be offside, let's just check it anyway?
What happened with the first one when they hit the post, didn't it?
I fucking hate it. If you think it's offside, flag it, you twat. But I guess what goes on now is because they know they've got VAR, they'll go, well, let's play it through. If I flag it and the game stops and they weren't offside and they could have scored a goal, then the linesman's to blame. But if I don't flag it, wait till they score. Oh, they scored. Let's flag it anyway. Let's just have a look. Oh, he is offside.
I think the problem that I have is there was a few of them. So Mamouche, I think it was Mamouche for the City first one, was so far offside, you could have driven a flipping train between the two of them. There would have been a problem. But Cienza's one, the ball was moving very quickly. So potentially the linesman was like, I'll just give him. It was only 4 seconds until he put the ball in there. And to be fair, despite the fact that it was offside, it was a great finish.
It was a great finish. I just hate it. I get why. I get that they don't want to flag. They don't want to flag and stop play. It'd be wrong, and it could have been a goal scoring opportunity. I get it. I do. But it's all one of those things where I just fucking hate VAR.
Of course we do.
It's facts. That's it. Otherwise, like I said, we defended for our lives. We threw ourselves in front of that ball. We got to half time. It was 0-0. And to some degree, I think that it sort of felt like a home game because I don't think they were. In fact, I've seen images on social media. They weren't awake. Some of them were literally sat there asleep. Literally asleep. City fans literally sat there snoring. Right. It was a hell of a turnout from the Saints fans. I'll be honest. Every Saints fan that went to Wembley yesterday and cheered that team on from the pubs, the Wembley Walkway or Olympic Way as it's now called, in the stadium before the ground started, when Blue Moon was playing, when the kickoff happened. All those like Saints fans themselves should be incredibly proud of the support they showed yesterday in a semi-final, which is, I don't care what anyone says, it's a pretty big deal for us as a club. And then the second half comes, right? And City start throwing on the big guns.
I don't think Guardiola was happy. I think that there's a part there, and a lot of City fans were saying this, and I've watched a lot of content today. I've watched all of Martin's stuff today. If he's still watching us, I've watched a lot of City's bits and pieces. I've been looking at it, and a lot of City fans were very disappointed that they didn't turn up and put their strong squad out because they had 9 days off after yesterday. And they're saying, I know we beat Arsenal, it took a lot out of them. They then beat Burnley on Wednesday, and they thought to themselves, I don't understand why we've gone so, again, I'll use the inverted commas, why we've gone so weak. We always knew Trafford was going to go in goal because that was always going to be the way. Our dad mentioned it, actually, didn't he, when Cienza got through. and it was flagged offside, the first thing Guardiola did was sit down and go, right, why has he managed to get in there? What's going on?
I mean, there's a reason why he's probably one of the best managers, if not the best manager in the world.
Probably a little bit, but we were having a bit of luck playing the ball long and picking up scraps. Towards the end of the first half, we started to get a bit sloppy.
I do think that, in my opinion, I think that Larin is so I think that perhaps Stewart is a better natural goal scorer than Larin, but I think Larin is a better target man than Stewart. And I think if that was our tactic, Larin might have had a better game. I will say, in terms of defending, Nathan Wood came in. I know he's been in the last couple of games since Jack's been out, but he came in and Wellington came in. And honestly, I think both of them had incredible games. They made incredible last-ditch tackles. They threw themselves in front of the ball. Especially Wellington, who's been out for so long. And I know he's injury-prone and he got hurt again and had to come off. But, he definitely went for it. Half-time comes, City start making changes. They start bringing on the big guns, right? Jeremy Doku comes on and we all go, oh, for fuck's sake. Haaland and O'Reilly comes on and we're still going, oh, for fuck's sake. In fact, what made me laugh is when they brought on Doku and...
Haaland?
No, who did they bring on with Doku?
Haaland.
I thought Haaland came on with O'Reilly.
No, O'Reilly came on with Savinho. Oh, no, sorry, you're right. Doku came on with Savinho.
So when those two players came on, Ash turns to me and goes, they put their speedsters on. And I went, fuck off. Because what I noticed yesterday, and I don't know if this was something that I just flat missed last season. In fact, maybe it was, but last season was so depressing. I think I might have tried to block it all out of my mind. What I noticed yesterday was the speed and power of that City side comparatively is something else.
It's massive. It's mad, yeah.
And I don't think they really got out of second gear for most of that game. I think they were kind of coasting, and I think that there was a bit of complacency from City. I'm going to be honest. I'm not criticising City as a club, or I will criticise their fans, but I think there was a bit of complacency. It's Southampton. They're in the Championship. We're top of the Premier League. And I think that's what happened. I'll be honest with you. I think that is what happened with the fans. I think they went, well, I can pay to go to Wembley for the semi-final against Saints, or I can just pay and go for the final because they're going to get there. And that's what I assume the mentality is.
Look, I think if we put that bit to bed right now, right? I've spoken. I know a lot of City fans. Yes, there was a lot of arrogant City fans yesterday. You always can have arrogant football fans, etc., etc. I still think the support was pathetic, but regardless, 24 times in 10 years, it's a lot of money.
Interestingly, the arrogance doesn't come from City fans from Manchester. The arrogance comes from City fans that have got names that use every letter of the alphabet.
Yeah, of course it does. But
that's what happens. You see those comments pop up on social media on the Saints feed or whatever. You're like, Jesus.
There was a City fan
yesterday. I'm surprised I've got computers in your country.
There was a social media post that I was watching, a video I was watching yesterday, where they said that Liverpool and Man United are the only two teams that have got the depth to sell out a stadium every single week if they needed to. And I thought to myself, well, I get that, because when City first got their Arab oil money, or what it was, they were selling out Wembley consistently. I think there's
what's interesting is what's interesting is a friend of mine, she's from Manchester, she's a Manchester City fan, has been all her life, had a season ticket for years.
Yeah.
And she said that a little while ago she cancelled a season ticket. And I asked why, literally talking about it yesterday. And she said when the money came in, the amount of fan-based tourism dramatically increased, and the atmosphere just disappeared and was nowhere near the same as it was before. And because of that, she's like, wasn't as enjoyable. I stopped going. Despite the fact I started winning everything, which is interesting, isn't it? Football almost becomes a sort of tourism business when you get that big. But hey,
of course it does. Just look at the Premier League.
Well, exactly. So I did notice that their physicality, their speed, their power was a level up. And what I also noticed was those fuckers had fucking magnets in their boots and a metal ball. Because Jesus Christ, the ball just sticks to them, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know.
The level of skill involved to control the ball on occasions in tight confined spaces, surrounded by the players, is utterly unbelievable. It's so incredibly good. But then, if you can break every fucking FA regulation going to get there,
who cares?
Yeah,
why not? Fuck it.
Second half happens. Like I said, they bring on all their big guns. We're all going, oh, fucking here we go. Haaland comes in. Typical Saints, it would be for him to break his duck at Wembley against us. And then that moment of magic happens.
Well, I think it's important to mention that before the moment of magic, we'd had obviously withstood so much pressure again and there'd been a few little breakaways and a few other bits and pieces, but Peretz had made 2 or 3 really good saves. There'd been even more blocks. Doku had switched wings, and Wellington was being absolutely skinned and had gone off by this point, and it was getting to the point where we were sort of thinking, oh my God, can we just stand on? And then suddenly, out of nowhere, the person who for me was a standout performer yesterday, Caspiander, wins the ball on the halfway line.
What? There's a downside to this. Caspiano's just put himself in the fucking Premier League shop window.
Of course he has. So he wins the ball at the halfway line.
What a performance from him yesterday.
He drives forwards, and we're thinking just something. He gives the ball to Leo, and everyone thinks the same. And I've got opinions, and I'm going to say some opinions that are probably going to shock some people at the end of this. He gives the ball to Leo, and you think, Leo, just skin him. For once today, just skin him and hit the byline. But he doesn't. He knocks it inside to Madsky.
Yep.
And Madsky gets the ball and hits it to Finazaz, but Finazaz has got his back to the goal. And he takes one touch.
Pirouettes.
And then pandemonium.
And then probably the best strike of the football he'll ever make.
Would probably agree with that, yeah.
Unbelievable. In fact, he bends it round, and if you watch it from the right angle, the fans are up before it's hit the back of the net. They're up in the air before it's hit the back of the net.
Well, we saw it was going in from where we were.
Yeah,
We knew it was going in.
Unbelievable strike. And fucking talk about limbs. The place, half the place erupted.
Even our dad was smiling.
Unreal. What a goal. And that was on the 80th minute. And Ash is right. We had weathered the storm again. We've been hanging on. We've been getting battered. We've been putting challenges in. The lads left everything on the pitch yesterday. I think I said about the fans could be very proud of themselves. I think the fucking players could be too as well. Ash said to me the other day that the only way we win this game is if every single player puts in a 10 out of 10 performance. They weren't far off that.
Disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute. I think they weren't far off that. So that happens. The place erupts. 10 minutes to go. And I'm like, I was like, fucking hell, can we actually do this? And like I said to you at the start of the show, right? It's the hope that kills you.
I looked, obviously, for those who obviously discussed, I took my boy yesterday, obviously. And he came up to me after we scored and he went, we're 10 minutes away from an FA Cup final. And I was just like, you prick. Why did you just say that?
So yeah,
what a twat.
Absolutely unbelievable scenes. Of course, we all know what happens after that. It was an incredible 3 minutes where we all dared to dream. Wembley was noise. When the Saints ringing out. We've had it in chat today. I've heard it from so many people who aren't even Saints fans who watched it on TV who went, you didn't know City had fans in the stadium until they scored their goal.
Yeah.
It was just noise from Saints fans the whole way through. And in fact, even once they scored their goal, they cheered the goal, and then all you could hear was Saints fans still.
They sat back down again, yeah.
Talk about their goal. Jeremy Doku gets the ball, gets given a bit of space. So what does he do? He has a shot. Of course he does. Unfortunately, poor old James Bree throws himself in front of it, who had been doing that all game because they continued to throw themselves in front of the ball. It takes a wicked deflection off of him. Who knows if it was going in without that deflection? Probably, knowing Doku. It sort of wrong foots Peretz. You can see him outstretched and it just nestles in the bottom corner. And it was 3-4 minutes after we scored, and oh, for fuck's sake. Cool, extra time. Surely it's going to go extra time.
We then went down the other end and had a very good chance.
Yeah, where Madsky, I think it got saved, didn't it?
It got tipped over the bar, and we had a few minutes of pressure. And I just wonder that little bit of pressure, or maybe it was the fact that the players were just absolutely fucked, because the pitch at Wembley is bigger than the pitch at St Mary's. Quite considerably, actually. It doesn't just look bigger, it is bigger.
It's a metre wider.
And yeah, we'd had a few moments. I think it was James. James, I'm gonna rubbish one of your comments, mate. I'm afraid when you said you didn't see Wellington get beat once, he got beat a significant amount of times down that wing, and that's how he got injured. Savino had him on toast, and I said that to you a few times on the ground. He had him on toast.
I still think Wellington had an incredible game.
I think he had an incredible game, but towards the end, you could see he was struggling because he was being skinned nearly every time, and I think Tonda did everything he could do, but the first goal from City. Fellows has let Doku go to a degree, but Fellows had done an okay job on him. Takes the deflection horrible. The winner is the one time in the entire game that we fell asleep.
There was a moment. The ball goes out to Bree, who nods it behind for a corner, which he really didn't need to do. He had time. He could have brought it down.
Space, yeah.
From that corner, basically, the ball comes out to Nico
Gonzalez, yeah,
and I don't know if he'll hit a better strike of the football.
Call it Artemis 3. It was a fucking rocket.
It was a rocket. He knocks it forward, and there's just no one closes him down. Everyone gives him space, and all you could hear was close him down, and then bang. In it goes, heartbreak for Saints fans, hence the title for tonight's show. Absolute heartbreak. I don't think we're massively surprised. What's weird is, I think up until that point, for the most part, up until that point, I don't think the ref had a particularly bad game. I think he slightly favoured City on occasion.
Shock.
But I don't think he had a bad game. I think it was relatively balanced. What I found was weird for me personally, and maybe this is rose-tinted glasses, maybe I'm looking at this from a Southampton bias. What was weird for me after that goal went in is I then felt that he went full City fan.
I watched the whole game back, and I try and watch the whole game back as a bit of a neutral. And there's one moment, I can't remember exactly. I can't remember if we were losing at this point or not. But there's one moment where Mazki gets full on shoved off the ball, and nothing's given. And then a few minutes later, Doku goes down. Obviously, Craig Pawson was the referee. We know he's not the best referee anyway. We know the referees are just not the best anyway. I don't think the referee was the reason that we lost yesterday.
No, I agree.
I think that there's a...
I agree, but afterwards, there's a couple of occasions where there was fouls on our players in attacking positions that weren't given. There were stiff breezes that knocked over their players that were given. And then let's look at extra time. 7 minutes of extra time on the clock. City did about 2 minutes to 3 minutes worth of time wasting. Never got added on.
No, I know.
He just blew it at 7 minutes. You can guarantee if that was the other way round and they were still losing, he'd have added it on.
Right? No, I don't disagree. I actually think that towards the end of the game, we were also being a bit... Cienza fell over. Just with the goal kick that they finished with was because Cienza had gone down the touchline and fallen over. But, with our tinfoil hats on, the FA have now got the final that they want, haven't they?
So we're going to get on to man of the match in a minute, but I said I think most players were close to a 10 out of 10 performance there today, and you said disagree. Hit me. Who?
That was pathetic. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
That was pathetic. I'm going to come in with some opinions, and some of them are going to be a bit shocking, and people are going to shout at me, and I know that people had to do some defending of stuff. I didn't think Ross Stewart was that good yesterday.
Okay.
I think he had a lot of running to do off the ball, and I get the fact that people are going to shout at me and say there's a lot of running to do off the ball. I think Fellows was okay to a degree. I think that he potentially could have done more, but again, he was chat at the back. I thought that Cameron Bragg started to show, especially towards the end of the first half, he was very leggy. I thought when Shea Charles came on, he didn't really inspire me. And I'm going to maybe hold this up so people don't throw things at me. I don't think Cienza.
I was about to say you're going to pick on Leo now.
I don't think Cienza was all there yesterday.
I think Cienza played okay.
I don't think he make something very, very right. Okay, I'm not saying that they were poor. I'm not saying that they were rubbish. And I came away from yesterday, and we didn't talk a lot in the car on the way home. I think because we were all bloody knackered, and because George was asleep, we didn't want to wake him up. But I think that we said the same thing. We wanted to go. We wanted to come home, having not been battered. And I kind of came away thinking to myself, we were 7 minutes away.
I'm the same. I was the same. I was more disappointed at the end of the day than I thought I would be.
And I
said this at the start of the show, right? I went expecting Saints to lose. Of course I did. That's what I expected. I came away actually feeling a bit gutted. Because at the point at which someone says earlier in the chat, and I'll ask you, I think Mikey says it, there it is, if that deflection doesn't go in, do you think we would have gone on to win it?
Yes.
It's mad, isn't it, how a game can...
And do you know what? It's there, I've seen Martin's comment. I know Bragg was injured a bit. I know that Leo didn't get the ball much. I'm not saying they were bad games. I'm just saying that I think if you sat down, if we had Leo in the room now, and we said to him, did you have a really good game yesterday? I think he'd say, no, do you know what, I didn't. Because I think there was a few times when he got the ball, when he just... The problem is that when you watch a game like that, you get used to seeing Leo and Fellows when he can do and stuff, hit the bylines, all that sort of stuff, but it wasn't the game that they could do that. But altogether, they were... I mean, you said it yourself, right? City did what most teams have done. They said, right, we'll let Nathan Wood have the ball, and the three of them pressed so hard.
Well, so Pep clearly does his homework. Pep's a fucking incredible manager, and part of why he does that is by analysing everything. And they had a 3-player press in their front three were pressing hard and fast all the time. And they're quicker than us and they're sharper than us. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you, they read the game better than us because of the level of player that they are. And we struggled to get out our fucking half because we couldn't. So Leo, I agree with you to a point, I do, but Leo couldn't do much. He didn't get the ball very often. And when he got the ball, he did okay. And there are occasions where, even in the Championship, I watched Leo and I think you went down a bit easy there, or that was a bit weak, or you've made a bad decision. But Leo also isn't Messi. He's Leo Cienza, right? And I still think when he had the ball, he was pretty tidy on it. I think that...
I will say very quickly, just to interrupt you though, is what we've not seen a lot from this season is that Leo's defensive game yesterday was superb.
Yeah.
Absolutely
him
superb.
and Wellington played well together on that left-hand side. But they just, their press was hard, it was fast, and they doubled up where they needed to. Their football was smart. They brought players across to cover Cienza when they needed to. They kind of gave Azaz a bit of space because, for the most part, they probably thought that was okay because it is.
Yeah.
They didn't give Fellows opportunity to run. Fellows is great in the Championship at knocking a ball past players and using his pace. Doesn't work against a team that's just faster than you all across the pitch. And credit to Pep, even with his second string side out, he set up to beat Saints. He clearly done his homework, and I think any manager that goes into a game against a team that's on a 20-game unbeaten streak has got to give them some level of respect. I think that there was a lack of respect in the lineup. I don't think there was a lack of respect in how they were playing. They came to beat us. They did. They didn't think they would just walk all over us, and we had that for the first 18 minutes before we scored. We'd had that lock. We'd had that dogged defending. We'd had some great saves. We'd had some amazing moments where they should have scored and they didn't.
Well, we also had a few moments, and it's something that I realised watching the game today, watching it back today, is that up until we scored, and it's a comment. What did our dad say yesterday?
My legs hurt.
Yeah, he always says that. Me legs hurt. I need to change my bag. Can we stop here for a wee? What else? What else did he say?
Love you, Dad.
What was the first thing he said yesterday when we finished the game? What's the worst thing that we did in the game yesterday?
Score,
because we woke him up. And you'll notice that when you watch that game back, City, and people have said it there, which is why I'm bringing it up. When Arsenal came down, they knocked the ball around. They were a little bit direct. They had a few shots from outside the area, but obviously we bossed them and let them began the bottle job, which was brilliant. Well, carried on the bottle job. City were fucking boring. They wanted to walk the ball into the net. But when they were losing, they then suddenly started thinking, well, we should start shooting from outside the box.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree. So, my man of the match yesterday, without question,
Cameron Archer.
Caspiander.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fine. Yes.
Caspiander, without question.
I didn't even put it to a members poll because I just told them that I was going to give it to Caspiander.
Caspiander is the right one. 100%, without doubt.
Do you want to get involved in that, guys? Become a member.
He was a machine. Like I at the start of the season when we first signed Casper, I said that he might be my favourite signing. Everyone was fangirling over Leo when he started playing quite well. I said that I think Yander might be my favourite signing. Yesterday, and he's had some bad games where he's got a bit missing or he's looked a bit tired, obviously. Yesterday was exactly what I thought I saw at the start of the season. I think he had a fucking incredible game.
He was superhuman yesterday.
He was absolutely immense. He added physicality to his game. He was getting involved in challenges. He was breaking play up. He was driving the ball forward. I don't think you can give it to anybody else. And I think that the squad had a good games across the board. I do sort of agree with you about Stuart, I guess. This is what I said to you at the start of the show. I think as a natural front man who's going to bully defenders and hold the ball up to lay it off for people like Leo, Azaz and Fellows, you want Larin. I just think you want Larin.
But at the same time, you had Nathan Acker and John Stones, they don't care. They play such a clever game.
No. And then the game finishes, obviously, after the 7 minutes of injury time. And again, credit to the fans. They stood there, they supported, they kept singing whilst the City fans were leaving in droves. And the players looked genuinely gutted. Genuinely gutted. There was clearly a real belief there they actually could turn City over and get a result.
They thought they were good. Yeah, thought they could win.
And I'm glad that that's the mentality that Tonda's got them into. We're taking on the league leaders against Arsenal. We're beating them. We're taking on the league leaders now against City. We can beat them. I love the fact that's the mentality, and I think it was good. The one thing I will say in criticism for the players in general, and that's obviously the cup final dream over. Like Ash said, tinfoil hat on. The FA got the final they wanted because Chelsea today beat Leeds. Surprise. Leeds tend to bottle it at Wembley. And it's a Man City-Chelsea final. Having watched some of Chelsea football over the course of the last few weeks, it means it's a Man City Cup, let's be honest.
Well, I won't watch the final because it'll be boring.
Dull. Anyway, then comes Tuesday, right? Last Tuesday, I say then comes Tuesday, that's weird because it's the wrong way around. Last Tuesday, Bristol City. This is the only criticism I have for the squad. We played Bristol City, and I think half that squad at least had an eye on Wembley.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question now, which is something that's been brought up by a few people, and I would like to have Chat's opinion on this. Do you think we deserved to win that game yesterday?
No.
Chat, what do we think?
I think the club should be proud. I think the fans should be proud. I think the players should be proud. I think fucking Tonda is a gem, and I'm petrified that if we don't go up, we lose him in the summer, because I think he's looking like he could be a fucking world-class manager. Yeah. We'll see. Time will tell. I think that they gave it their all, and I think they left everything on the pitch. But you know what happened? City scored 2 goals and we scored 1, so we don't deserve to win.
There you go.
That's football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? You can have. This is a famous dad phrase, right? You can have the ball for 89 minutes, and the opposing team can have the ball for a minute. If they score a goal in a minute and you don't score one in 89, so can I question their effort? No. Can I question their commitment? No. Can I question their determination and the fact that they left it all on the pitch? No, I can't question any of that. They were amazing. Their passion was great. Their effort was great. Their energy was great. Did we deserve to win? No. They scored 2. We scored 1.
Do you know why they deserve to win? They had a better XG than we did.
Well, they also had the ability to bring on £180 million worth of substitutes when they brought on their substitutes. I think which is probably worth more than our entire squad.
Probably, to be fair.
And if we're honest with it, although passion, effort, determination was high, City played the ball around nicer. They have more control. They have better play. Like they just, you know. And Martin, Football Martin says in the chat. By the way, if you haven't, guys, check out Football Martin. We love the guy. We rode our luck. They were always going to. Yeah, absolutely. Thank God Busini was in goal. We'll talk about that in a bit. Jesus fucking Christ. We got to half time, and I think I said to Dad then they could have been 3 or 4 up.
They could have been, yeah. They could have been.
On a different day, if this fixture was the same fixture a year ago and it was the same sort of game played, they'd have beat us 6-1.
But do you know what George said to me today?
Are you sure you're my dad?
I mean, he says that quite often, to be fair.
Okay.
Do you think we would have been better if Flynn Downs and Ryan Manning would have played?
I think...
Because I thought our set pieces yesterday were poor.
I think if Downs had played ahead of Cam Bragg, who was carrying a knock, I think that we have a better central midfield, although I think Cam Bragg played okay considering he's carrying a knock. Do I think Manning would be better than Wellington? Well, I think Wellington had a fantastic game for a player coming back into the squad. I just think
the only difference that particularly could have been there, like I said, is I thought that our set pieces yesterday were quite poor.
Yeah, I agree. So if we quickly pop back to Bristol City on Tuesday, chat, and this is where I do have a slight criticism, but I get it. A lot of them didn't put their foot in where they perhaps could put their foot in. It looked like they were playing at 50% because they had an eye on Saturday and they wanted to be fit, healthy, ready, uninjured for the semi-final. That's a criticism. Bristol came to play, which I don't know if I'm surprised at that or not. They had a couple of decent chances. We were playing a different side, I guess, again, managing minutes for the Cup semi-final, which was nice because it meant he's clearly going to play at the semi-final. And then there was just a couple of like really un-Tonda Saints moments, I think. Like their first goal, I mean, it was a Manning own goal, but it was just a weak goal to concede. We show great character. Larin gets himself an equaliser. We're skipping through Bristol City, right? Because, hey. We then conceded from a set piece, which is also always very disappointing. And then we score a second leveller from Ross Stewart. And we nearly win it. We do. But it was kind of a bit of a... I'll be honest with you, for me, it was a bit of a deflating performance after the run we've been on and the victories we've been on. I thought we would beat Bristol City. I know that they were the team that broke our unbeaten run in the previous championship season when we were on 25 games unbeaten. They didn't stop the unbeaten run, but they just stopped the win streak, at least.
It had to stop somewhere.
Yeah, I agree, but I do also believe if we didn't have the Cup semi-final on Tuesday... I believe we beat them.
Well, you would, of course you would, because you wouldn't be starting. No disrespect to when they scored the winner against Swansea, but you wouldn't be starting Cameron Archer. You wouldn't be starting. You'd probably make changes early. You'd have Cienza on and all that sort of stuff. It probably didn't help having Jack Stevens taken out the starting lineup. I think, regardless of whatever happens, people are always going to potentially look at that FA Cup semi-final and think I want to be there for that one. I think
of course.
I think too many players on Tuesday night had an off night. So I think Flynn Downs and Shay Charles had an off night. Nathan Wood started completely off the bat. I mean, he was beaten in a horse race like within the first 2 minutes.
They picked on him immediately, didn't they?
Yeah. I thought James Bree had a poor night. I thought Madsky gave the ball away a lot. I thought Azad gave the ball away a lot. I thought Archer tried, but We weren't direct. We didn't move the ball in intensity and all that sort of stuff. But we're not out of it yet.
No, we're not out of it yet. We're not out of it yet. We'll talk about that. Anyway, game 2-2 draw. Still unbeaten in the league, at least. Obviously, we're not unbeaten anymore. We got to 20 games and we came up against the league leaders, Man City, who I think at this point possibly win the Premier League as well.
Well, beaten in like 16 league games. So.
Yeah, so we go back. We get to 18. Now we go to 18 league games unbeaten. No, 17.
17.
Anyway,
helps out.
yeah, maybe you were right at 16. Who knows? And the members picked Kyle Larin for man of the match, who you didn't even put on the vote originally.
No, it was mainly. I think the problem was with Tuesday. It's because there's a few options. So the first goal, although it was a freak goal to concede, a bit of a poor one to concede. You know, the cross has come into the box. It's hit Manning. Manning's got no choice about it. There's nothing he can do about that one going in, to be fair. And Peretz has obviously it's gone past him. The second goal that we conceded, Che Charles let his marker go. Quite admirably. I thought Che Charles was, for want of a better phrase, he was bloody awful on Tuesday night. Taylor Harwood-Bellis doesn't even swing a leg on it on the line to try and stop it going in. Again, you think to yourself, if we're not playing Saturday in that cup game, do they potentially try and stop it? And I'm not saying that's what they did. I'm just saying that there's also all that potential there. I felt, and I think a lot of the members agreed. Again, guys, if you're not in Discord, get into Discord. You want to get into the members section, become a member. Carl Larin's effort on Tuesday night was what put him above other people because he just fought. And it's worth remembering that when we talk about yesterday, for example, and I potentially agree with you with Carl Larin over Ross Stewart, we knew that Ross Stewart was going to start because Larin played the full 90.
And ran his arse off.
He was
bollocks at the end of it, let's be honest. So, I mean, I agree with that man of the match, to be fair. Anyway, there's other news around. So, the league promotions are still on the cards. We'll talk about that in just a moment. The FA Cup run comes to an end. It was an epic FA Cup run. I think the team of 76 would have been proud of this FA Cup run. We dispatched 2 Premier League teams. We gave a fucking incredible account of ourselves against Manchester City, where everybody had probably written us off before we started. I think that was a day for everyone to be proud of. And what I'm hoping is that performance yesterday and the praise that's come out, not just from Saints fans, I might add, the praise that's come out after the game, hopefully means that those players remain relatively buoyant when it comes to Saturday's game.
And grounded. Hopefully they stay grounded.
Tuesday's game. Yeah, and grounded. Anyway, other club news. I went to level 1 last Monday. That's fucking expensive. There's a bit of club news. Katrina Lieber is back on the board, replaces her representative, Rolf Bogley.
Bogill. I spelled it wrong.
Oh, yeah. Bogley, you've written there.
I don't know what it is. It's some bloke.
Is this significant? Is this showing yet more changes up at the top that are positive for the club?
I don't think it massively affects us.
At all?
Massively, to be fair, at the moment. I think Katrina Lieber has always had the interest of the club at heart to a degree because obviously her dad was involved, but obviously she then did sell off a fair chunk of it. But I don't think, at the moment, it affects nothing.
Okay, perfect. So, wider championship, right? Oh my God. Championship clubs vote against VAR introduction. Good. Fuck it off.
Well, it was like VAR Mark II. It was going to be based on a teams having like an appeal situation where managers can challenge twice and all that sort of stuff.
Fucking get fucking VAR out of football. Get it out. It is shit. No, that's a lie. VAR isn't shit. The people using it are shit. Let's talk about the promotion fight, right? So results, obviously drawing at Bristol City was not ideal. We dropped 2 points there. Results have sort of gone our way though to a point, right?
Sort of.
Ipswich lead the way. Millwall only got a 1-1 draw with Leicester. Ipswich drew 0-0, 0-0 at West Bromwich Albion. So we have to beat Ipswich on Tuesday to take it to the final day with a chance of automatics. If we beat Ipswich on Tuesday, Ipswich sit in second place on 80 points. Just below them is Millwall on 80 points. Just below them is Middlesbrough on 79 points. And just below them is us, if we beat Ipswich, on 79 points.
Well, we'd be above Middlesbrough, but yeah.
Yeah, but on goal difference.
Yeah.
What an end to the season that would be. And then we go away to Preston. And if Millwall and Ipswich were to only get a draw and we beat Preston, we could still be automatically promoted. Do I see it happening? No. There is a chance. Football's a funny old game.
There's
right?
It's one.
If you think football isn't a funny old game, watch the York game from yesterday.
Oh my God, we need to talk about that.
So it's still all to play for, right? And obviously, even if we don't go up in second place with automatics, there is implications to finishing third and fourth, depending on who you play and where you play and what order you play your games in the playoffs, right? So there is benefits to finishing higher. We need to win both games. It's as simple as that. Hull lost again, so they're probably not playoffs anymore. 1 point separates Wrexham, Hull, Derby after Derby beat QPR and Wrexham lost to Coventry. I think mathematically now there's no way we can drop out of playoffs. Is that correct?
We are mathematically in the playoffs.
That's what I thought. Right,
we
perfect.
can no longer finish any lower than 5th.
Yeah, which, considering where we were when Tonda took over, again is one hell of a fucking achievement.
It is. So Hull lost away at Charlton, who themselves lost at home to Ipswich to another dodgy Ipswich penalty. So at the moment, you've got 4 from 1, potentially going for second spot on the last day of the season, but we would have to beat Ipswich. If we don't beat Ipswich, then that's done. It would then just be between Ipswich and Millwall and Middlesbrough.
Okay.
The playoff place for the 6th position, Wrexham lost to Coventry today. Hull lost to Charlton yesterday. Derby won late at QPR yesterday, which means that you've got 3 out of Wrexham, Hull or Derby who could potentially be in that 6th spot. I don't know who Hull and Derby I've got off the top of my head, but Wrexham are at home to Middlesbrough on the last day of the season. So if we don't win on Tuesday night, potentially we could end up finishing 5th.
Yeah.
So we could finish 2nd or we could finish 5th.
Yeah. What ends the season? I think we beat Ipswich on Tuesday. Their away record isn't great, but who knows? We need to win. It's as simple as that against Ipswich. But either way, we are definitely in the playoffs. And what I have seen a lot of, I'm going to call him on it here because I don't like it. Right? Garcia said if Saints finish in the playoffs, they will win it. I'm seeing that everywhere at the moment from people that aren't Saints fans, mostly from people that are other clubs.
Like Mark's comment right
there. I don't like it. I don't like that kind of arrogance because that's how mistakes happen. That's how complacency sets in. I don't think. And the thing is, when you go into the playoffs as a team that is the favourite to win it, every other team turns up 10% more against you. They just do.
Of course they do. I think that potentially where we find ourselves right now, there's a chance where Tuesday night we can either be leggy or Tonda gets them all together and goes, right, lads, let's go again. Because we shouldn't be that leggy compared to Ipswich, because Ipswich also played Saturday. But we need to get to the point where, people like Leo and stuff will probably, I'd like to think they'll come out and think, right, do you know what, we've got a point to prove.
Yeah.
And we need to keep that. We have to win. We have no choice.
Agreed.
We have to win.
The relegation fight's still ongoing. Pompey and West Brom are now safe after Oxford lost to Wrexham. Oxford relegated after Charlton. West Bromwich Albion pick up points.
The relegation is sorted.
It's done, yeah.
Yes,
it's not still on, it's done, is
relegated.
what I meant to say.
Leicester are down. Oh no!
Oh no! That's I can't remember what game it was. There was a game we played against Leicester recently, and the fucking dogs abuse we got from Leicester fans on social media because they called themselves a big club because they won the Premier League 10 years ago, and now they're in League One. Ha! So there's a Leicester City fan in chat who's been really nice about Saints tonight, so I feel quite bad for that. Oh no, it's not Leicester City.
No, it's Lincoln City.
Lincoln. Good.
Lincoln City.
Fuck off, Leicester.
Lincoln City are going into Championship, champions of League One, and over 100 points. Fair play to them.
So before we preview the 2 games coming up, before we touch on that, should we touch on this York game?
Oh my God!
Because we do say we'll talk about wider football, right? And this is, the circumstances better than I do, but I also saw the results coming through yesterday. York were playing.
So first level one, only 46 likes, 100 of you. Hit the like button, please. Thank you. So, York have effectively almost been runaway leaders of the National League, and Rochdale have been trying to keep in touch. Now, last week, Rochdale won in the 98th minute, where I can't remember where it was, and the York City players were on the pitch ready to celebrate
winning the league,
and then Rochdale scored. So obviously, it took it to the final game of the season. To Scotland yesterday at 12:30, which was Rochdale versus York City. Winner takes all, but York could have done with a draw. A draw took them up, right?
Yeah, but if Rochdale win,
if
York
Rochdale
go in
win
second,
they go above York.
And there's only one automatic promotion place in that league.
Yes. So obviously we were watching this basically on our phones, in the Green Man, and then what was the other pub we went into? The White Horse, when it was obviously going on. And in the 95th minute, Rochdale scored. Pandemonium. I know you've never been to Scotland, I have, but you've got, obviously it's got the four sides, but this side, obviously, the side that is opposite the dugouts has the away fans. So yeah, Rochdale scored. Pandemonium.
So much pandemonium, in fact, it spilled onto the pitch.
They ran onto the pitch. Pitch invasion. Some York fans start leaving the stadium. They all sit down. Some of them are crying. Oh my God, this is over. We're going to go into the playoffs, because naturally the National League playoffs are fucking hard to win. And they scored in the 5th minute of 6 minutes stoppage time. So, minute left to play, right? Apart from the fans were on the pitch for like 6 minutes and they couldn't get them off. So what did York do?
On the restart, we'll take that.
Well, they played a long ball. It's amazing because there's been so much clickbait about it, but the goal was given by the referee GDS, the goal decision system, because it only just crossed the line. But the ball gets put into the box. It comes across. The defender heads it across. It comes out. God, fucking guy knocks it in, and you see the fans. There's a great video from York Stadium where they're watching it on big screens around, and they're like, everyone does it. Even the players on the pitch. Has it gone in? Has it not? And then the referee gives it. Mad. Yeah. Absolutely mad. And then the York City fans run onto the pitch.
Yeah, that's football. What a game.
Love it.
Right, back to decent football. So Ipswich at home on Tuesday, Preston away on Saturday, right? Again, I've said it a couple of times already, chat. I'll say it again. Must-win games. At this point in the season, I don't think there's too much point previewing these games properly or in detail. Donda needs to put out the best he possibly can after Saturday, bearing in mind knocks, fatigue, tiredness. We need to turn... I've said this a few times this season. I say it now again to the small audience we have. We need to turn up on Tuesday. We need to turn up. We need to turn up on Tuesday like we turned up yesterday. We need to turn up on Tuesday like we turned up against Arsenal.
Can I say something to the chat, though, that I think we agreed on yesterday? If we win on Tuesday night, we'll put a show out on Wednesday. In some capacity.
Well, yes. Are you off on Wednesday?
Yes.
So we might have to pre-record it the day.
Might have to pre-record one, but we'll put a show out on Tuesday. If we don't, then there's no point, because we'll be like, oh, that was shit.
Yeah.
But we will put a show out on Tuesday. Wednesday.
Ash and I will be there on Tuesday, shitting ourselves because football's great. And I think we get a result against Ipswich, I'll be honest. Their away form of the season hasn't been amazing, but they are also in second place, so it hasn't been that bad. I think we get a result, though. I think we beat Ipswich.
Look, this is the end of 3 games on the road for Ipswich. They look leggy against Charlton. They look leggy against Middlesbrough. They look leggy against Charlton. They also look leggy against West Brom. And West Brom, up until the last sort of 5-10 minutes or so, West Brom were kind of battering them to a degree. Ipswich have got a lot of players. They've got a lot of players that can hurt us. They play an expansive game. I think that, he's going to go Cienza. He's going to go Carl Laren. It'll be Azaz. It'll be Madski. Just need to fucking go for it.
Yeah, agree.
This is the point that, do you know what? It is that situation. If it's 1-1 with 92 minutes and we get a corner, keeper needs to bloody go up.
And what we are seeing from Saints at the moment is the willingness to just go for it. Even the changes that he made yesterday were slightly more aggressive. He went for it. He went for that result yesterday. So, we have to beat them. Then, if we do beat them, like Ash says, we go into the final game of the season all to play for away at Preston. Actually, I'm going to say this now and sound a bit like a plastic. With the exception of Wembley, my first away game this season, life has got in the way somewhat. But my first away game this season, Ash and I are going to be there at Preston, all to play for final game of the season. It could be, maybe final game of the season. If results go our way, final game of the season. If results don't go our way, there's a few more because we hit the playoffs.
Yes, which terrify me.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Now, my gut instinct tells me we're going to be in the playoffs and we're not going to get automatics because I can't see Millwall and Ipswich not getting a win on Saturday. One of them will get a win, they'll get second place, and then we'll be in the playoffs. That's what I genuinely think will happen, even if we win both games. If that happens, and after Saturday, obviously we review the game, and then what happens is we go into previewing the playoffs, and we get excited about playoffs, and potentially we get excited about another trip to Wembley. We've got semi-finals in the way of that first, so let's see what happens. Ipswich and Preston, all I want to hear is win, loss, draw. I don't care about the score result. Ipswich.
Draw.
Preston.
Win.
Okay. I think win-win. I think win-win. That's what I'm going for.
I'm just worried about that hangover.
Let me know. Yeah, so am I. But I think we put in such a great performance that I think the spirit should be high. Let me know what you think, chat, in the chat right now. I'm going to dive into the super chats because we've had a few of those come through. I would dive into the members and gifted members, Ash, but we have none of those.
They don't want me to present the show next week, then, do they?
They don't. Clearly, they don't. So there's been a few of these, though, which is amazing to see. Thank you so much, you wonderful human beings, for choosing to support the show. Garsty, thank you for the $5. He says, from buying my first White Dwarf 24 years ago, reading about the new Rhino, to watching Saints playing an FA Cup semi, life takes strange paths sometimes. Well done.
It's probably still the same Rhino, isn't it?
Garsty's obviously not a Saints fan. Garsty's a fan of my other channel. I say fan, I hate the word, but he's a viewer of my other channel. He followed me across here as a football fan, and he watched the Saints game on yesterday with interest because of the podcast, which is amazing. You're a hero, thank you. He's a Wrexham fan. We give him some abuse because he's a Wrexham fan, but they've not had a bad season themselves. I kind of hope they make the playoffs, if I'm honest. I don't think they win it though, if I'm being brutally honest, but I kind of hope they do. And if they don't go up, which I don't think they will, I think they've put themselves up for a strong season next season. To be 100%. Fair, so thank you, Mossed, for the $5. Shouts yellows up the fucking Saints.
Yes,
good man.
Always legend.
Joshy boy, thank you for the $5. Finally made it back home. Been stuck in London all day. Car broke down in Fleet, but still made it to the game on time. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he did message me about that earlier.
He still made it on time though.
He drives a Kia.
Yeah, right, okay.
That's why.
Yeah. Ran out of dog-based fuel.
Yeah.
At least you made it, mate. So I'm glad you enjoyed the day. I'm glad you're back home now. I hope you get the car sorted, bud. Thank you, Matty McManus, for the $2. Those were the best 3 minutes of my life.
That's what he said to his missus last night.
Wasn't 3 minutes. Wasn't 3 minutes, was it? And then Lucas, thank you for $4.99. It was great bumping into you before the game. Lucas and Adam Guy. Liam, total pro. Ash looked undecided whether to lump me or leg it. Love the show.
In all fairness, I am going to apologise to a few people that I spoke to yesterday, but I had my son with me who was absolutely petrified. He'd never been to an event like that before, had never been to somewhere that big, and was just not. I was more worried about him than I was about other bits.
I am a total professional. You are, in fact, correct.
I'm definitely not. I asked Football Martin about the time we met him for the first time. I think I spat my KFC all over him. So.
You did, yeah. The first time we ever met Football Martin was in a service station going to an away game in the Premier League. And we were having KFC, and he comes over. So, as the consummate professional, I put mine down and away. I haven't finished eating. Make sure my hands are clean. Shake his hand, have a chin wag. Ash is still smashing fucking chicken in his face, isn't he? And I was like, Jesus Christ. I said to him afterwards, like, people come over and talk to you. Don't go, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it was weird that people were talking to us, and then someone approached me in a toilet. Yeah. And my life has never been the same.
Thank you, Smeg, for Ray, by the way, for the one gifted membership as well. I'm going to say it, chat. I've said it before. I'll say it again. And I think if you get on social media, the rhetoric from everyone who's not a skate is the same. Saints, Southampton Football Club should be very proud of their appearance yesterday. The way that they conducted themselves. My opinion is at the moment that this team, right, if I'm honest, with this manager, I think personally, and this again, you're more level-headed than I am.
Yes.
So maybe this is me having a bias because of what we've witnessed.
Because I'm older.
Because you're older, exactly. But in my opinion, this team, this squad, and this manager are showing qualities that we just didn't show under Russell Martin in the season we got promoted. A togetherness that we didn't really show, a unity that we didn't really show, a passion, desire, and drive that we didn't show. I think our manager is tactically better. I think he's tactically more adaptable. I think he's getting better out of the players. I think he's coaching them very, very well. I think we're showing a lot more than we showed under the previous manager, and it makes me slightly less frightened about being promoted.
I think that if we get promoted this season, and I say if, guys, because the playoffs is a lottery, right? I know people are very, very confident about it. Oh, we're going to be back at Wembley in a month. Fucking got to get there first, so let's not worry about that. I think that if we were to get promoted this season, and yes, I think we're better equipped to be in the Premier League next year. I think that if we don't get promoted this season, there's going to be a lot of asset stripping. Yeah, I am slightly concerned about the circling sharks if we don't get promoted. However, some of it doesn't concern me. I think there's been some performances, right? And I think that's one of the ones that has been absolutely mainstay for me is I think Cameron Bragg has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like I think I know Yanda had an amazing game yesterday, and I know that Shea Charles has had but Shea Charles had good days and off days. Flynn Downs has good days and off days, and his disciplinary record is awful. But when I said that I didn't think he was necessarily on it yesterday, I think that's a testament to how well that he has played in every game.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was bad yesterday. I just think that towards the end of the time before he came off, he looked leggy.
Yeah, of course.
And
But he's also young.
He's also one of our own, and he started at Wembley in a semi-final, and you know,
amazing.
We weren't losing when he went off. So,
the asset stripping concerns me because we've shown players that we've got players that have shown that quality. Let's face it, we've played 3 Premier League teams this season. 4?
yeah, we played Liverpool in the League Cup.
Okay, of course. Well, yeah, all right. I forgot about the League Cup actually. Played 4 Premier League teams this season. We've lost to Liverpool, Manchester City. We beat Fulham, and we beat Arsenal. It's not a bad showing. I think in every game, with perhaps the exception of the Liverpool one, we have shown significantly better performances than we showed in the Premier League last season.
Well, we were better against Liverpool as well, to be fair, but it doesn't matter that we lost yesterday. Do you know why? No one cares about the FA Cup.
No.
Yeah, no one cares.
Well, and the thing is, when Leeds are in a semi-final, when Saints are in a semi-final, there's a little bit of magic left in the FA Cup. But now that's both been done, the magic now does kind of fade, I think.
Oh, they'll start making a big thing about it on TV, won't they? It's the FA Cup. It's the greatest history in the competition.
Guess what?
No one cares.
Man City and Chelsea probably sells more TV rights. So
Yeah,
anyway.
of course it does.
You guys have been amazing, as always. Thank you to everybody who super chatted with your comments. Thank you so much for the one gifted membership that did come through as well, so we didn't have 0. You're insane. You guys are awesome. You've been awesome all season. I'm hoping we can be awesome for 2 more games at the very least, and at least 1, if not 2 more shows. That being said, don't panic. Ash has told me that we're covering the World Cup in the summer, that I definitely don't care. I care about the FA Cup more than I care about the World Cup. I did buy an England football shirt just to show that I sort of cared, but that's about as far as it'll go.
You bought a women's one though, didn't you?
Whether I'll watch a match or not. Yeah, I'm going to show me chest off. Whether I'll watch a match or not, I don't know.
Dominic, I've seen your comment. It's the rule at the start of the season. So if you are given a red card or given a retrospective action in terms of suspension, then it covers both competitions. But yellow card suspensions only cover one. I don't agree with it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, it is. And on his red card, having seen the replay of what they gave it, not red card, on his ban, having seen the replay of what they gave him the ban on,
yeah,
I don't think we could argue.
Yeah.
The club didn't argue.
Flynn
He
Downs
hasn't
didn't
argued.
argue.
And I think, I do think there is an argument to say they didn't argue simply because if he takes the ban now, he's available for the playoffs.
If they'd have argued with it, they would have extended it to 4.
Yeah. And now he can play in all the playoff games.
Yes.
So I think that's why they didn't argue it. But also, if you watch him go in hard, fast, and with a high elbow.
The issue that people have, just to clarify it for people, yes, he was booked in the game, but he wasn't booked for the challenge. He was booked for the scuffle afterwards. So when the referee re-watches it, because they do, it's how they work, they re-watch certain situations, etc., and they've seen that one, they'll highlight that as violent conduct. Let's be honest, it was.
Yeah.
And they'll go, right, we'll go back to it.
So there is an argument to say that they didn't argue it because of the playoff issue. There's also an argument to say they didn't argue it because it was justified. So
as part of the rhetoric for FA stitching us up, though, I still believe that had Flynn Downs played yesterday, we still get beat.
yeah, of course. Anyway, you guys have been amazing, like I said. We will see what happens on Tuesday. Obviously, we'll be active in the Discord. Well, Ash will be active in the Discord mostly. We'll see what happens on Tuesday against Ipswich. If we get a result, if we do beat Ipswich, there is a possibility we'll try and get some content out on Wednesday to get excited for the Preston game. And then we've got the last game of the season where we get up at stupid o'clock in the morning to drive up to Preston and watch that before we probably hit playoffs. Like I said to you already, your support this season has been amazing. Thank you for being here and hanging out with us and chatting on the podcast. It's been insane. Let's keep it going in the stadium for the next two games, both home and away. So I think Tuesday we need to turn up like we did against the West Brom semis in the previous championship season, like we did against Arsenal, like we did yesterday against City. Turn up like that. I think that gives a huge boost to the players and their confidence, and make sure that we applaud them onto that pitch for their effort that they put in yesterday. And that's it. I think that's everything, isn't it?
Someone wants us to do a 24-hour stream.
No, I'd rather suck off a horse, I'll be honest.
I barely last an hour without having a wee, so...
Correct. Anyway, I think that is everything. We've covered everything. We're happy?
Probably.
We're good?
Probably. Jimmy's not doing a show tonight, guys. He's having a night off, so
I do want them to bring these back out for sale.
What, those ones? Specific ones?
Not this one. Not this one. Not one that was made in a sweatshop by a Chinese child. I mean the official ones.
Yes. Well, let's see.
Although
Because
they
you
were
never know.
significantly more expensive than the £12.
We never know, and I'm saying this as a maybe, not a we will. Maybe we'll go back to Wembley in a few weeks.
Yeah. You
That'd be
guys,
nice.
like I said, you guys have been amazing. That is everything from us. But before we go, I'm sure Ash will have some encouraging words for us. Anything you want to say before we go, Ash?
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you all Wednesday, because that'll be nice if we can do. Up the Saints!
Up the Saints. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.